Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. Gonna stack a bunch of videos because a lot of stuff happened. Um, it may not have been good or bad. Like I've seen some, JD from New York has kind of been like, it was kind of a mid Raw. Yeah, there was some stuff that was kind of just there. The King and Queen of the Ring tournament matches were both pretty good. I mean, Jey Uso literally 7 days after losing the World Heavyweight Championship, has already got another potential chance at he's facing Cody Rhodes next week in the King of the Ring semifinal. Listen, I'll get to that at some point. But the big story here, outside of the obvious that Goldberg's facing Gunther, and we can get to that. I spoke about her last week, and I gave her flowers, Liv Morgan. A just tragic an unfortunate injury to Liv Morgan tonight. Early on in her match with Kairi Sane, she led off the show, had a segment with Io Sky, the women's champion, and it seemed like we were either heading toward either or. We were probably heading towards maybe something at Night of Champions between Io and Liv, and then clearly the direction was Liv and Nikki Bella was supposed to be on the show, didn't appear because of everything that happened. They had to call an audible. I mean, they went off the air before 10:30 Eastern. This sucks. This sucks really bad. The report from Mike Johnson over at Pro Wrestling Insider says it's 100% a legitimate injury. This was not a conspiracy theory or anything. She was checked out by WWE medical personnel as soon as she was brought to the backstage area. They're waiting to learn that it's a dislocation. If it is deemed a severe dislocation, this could be 16 weeks. That's 4 months. And that sucks if you're Liv Morgan at the height of her push, at the height of her career, women's world champion most of last year, you know, crown jewel champion. You could say what you will about that award. Clearly heading toward, she was going to face a Hall of Famer, whether it was in a tag team match or not. She's in a big storyline, potentially was going to challenge for the women's world championship against Io Sky. And then clearly there's something going on here with Roxanne Perez be infiltrating the Judgment Day and that sort of thing happening. So there's no two ways around it. This whole situation really stinks for Liv Morgan, and I hope that she's okay. And I hope that she gets healthy. There's a lot of different ways that you could take this whole situation. But the first thing that I'm going to say, and I have to give a shout out to Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, destroying kayfabe, basically said, PSA, don't celebrate an injury, disgusting behavior, don't be like them. There was a lot of people on the internet who were celebrating the fact that Liv got hurt. I know people who I connect with on the internet personally who do not like Liv Morgan. They call her Mid Morgan. Even they are sad about this injury. So if you're one of these schmucks on the internet who is glorifying and celebrating an injury, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Liv Morgan, and I said this last week, was one of the hardest working individuals in this division. I'd say as far back as when she came up on the main roster as part of the Riot Squad. It's been about, 8 years since she's been on the main roster or something like that, 7, 8 years that she's been on the main roster, really kind of came into her own 2021, 2022. She deserves to be in the position that she is in. The heel thing has been kind of hit and miss with me. The laugh is kind of annoying. The whole thing with her and Dominic has kind of gotten a little bit redundant. This stinks because clearly they were building her up to do something really great in this division. And now she's not healthy. And if this is deemed to be a serious dislocation, you guys heard my timeline. She's out until October at least. They say 16 weeks. And that did not look good. It did not look good. They stopped the match immediately. She wasn't shown on camera. We haven't seen or heard. And the fact that WWE publicly acknowledged that this was a dislocation on the spot is bad. That's not good when they are acknowledging real life injuries, like literally within 15 minutes. Like they knew this immediately. A lot of people who know anything about athletics knew that this was a bad situation. So first and foremost, if you're one of these people who are just glorifying and just trying to get a click or something just to say, Liv Morgan got hurt. She deserves this. She sucks. Fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. And Liv Morgan, please get well. Let's move this forward a second and just, let's talk about what this is going to mean for Evolution, because clearly there are plans that just have gotten blown up. Liv Morgan probably was gonna have a match at Night of Champions against, or it's maybe on a Raw against Io Sky that was gonna feed into whatever she was gonna do with Nikki Bella. Um, the natural and easy solution to this situation is to have Roxanne Perez just slide in. And, good for Roxanne, man. She falls into a situation where she gets to face one of the greatest of all time right on the spot at Evolution. And then basically, I know a lot of people aren't going to like this. Have Roxanne really just kind of do the Liv Morgan thing from last year and kind of take Liv Morgan's spot. And then if Liv is out for a significant period of time, this might be a blessing in disguise, actually, because Liv can come back, be a babyface, and, have her feud with Roxanne. I think that's good for both of them. Her and Raquel can fall out, that whole thing. Maybe we can do a whole arc where Liv and Rhea become like, friends again, or like, frenemies. There's a lot on the table that can be made out of this. So like, like I said, first and foremost, this is not the way they wanted this to go down. This was not the situation that they wanted. And it stinks to see so many people react a certain way to this. But first and foremost, I just hope that Liv Morgan's going to be okay. It stinks that, she was in position to have a really decent size, whether it was going to mean anything or not. She was going to be put in a really prominent position going into Evolution, and now she's probably going to miss it. Unless this is like, deemed a less significant injury than what it was, and she can somehow make it back in a month. She's not making Evolution. So again, like I said, the Raquel stuff, and obviously a lot of stuff is going to play out with the Judgment Day. I don't know where this leaves Dominic, and maybe we can leave some of that love storyline stuff out of this. But I think the natural progression here is to have Roxanne Perez kind of slide in and sort of take Liv's spot in the Judgment Day while Liv is gone. And it may be a little bit redundant to run back the storyline, but at least that can get you from point A to point B, because clearly what they were setting up for something with Roxanne and Liv. That was clearly where this whole thing was going to go. It was probably going to play out a lot longer down the road, but yeah, you just, injuries suck, man. And it's just like I said, this woman, I gave her flowers literally a week ago. That promo and everything that she did with Nikki, it was clearly setting up for something really, really big for her career. And she has earned a lot of things. No matter how you feel about her, Liv Morgan has worked hard to get every single opportunity. That this was a third wheel in the Riot Squad 7-8 years ago at the first Evolution, and she was going to face Nikki freaking Bella, a reality star, a Hall of Famer, one of the more famous people outside of wrestling, and Liv Morgan was going to get that opportunity. And a freak accident. Let's not blame Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane was not reckless here. This was a normal takedown, and it was a freak accident. Go watch the tape. So don't blame Kairi Sane. Don't laugh and glorify the fact that Liv Morgan got hurt. Obviously, this is an unfortunate situation, and this is the way things are. This is sports and entertainment. So I wish Liv Morgan well. I hope she is okay. I hope she gets back healthy very, very soon. This is just the way the business works, man. This is the way any sort of athletic business works. And there is an element of sports and entertainment. And unfortunately, the injury aspect of sport reared its ugly head to one of the stars of WWE for really the last few years. And no matter how you feel about her, just wish her well. Don't do any of this grifting or do any of this engagement farming that you're happy that Liv Morgan. The fact that Rhea Ripley had to come out and basically say that about one of her kayfabe enemies. First of all, Rhea Ripley, what a leader. What a leader doing that. I don't know where this is going to lead everything moving forward. We can debate that another time, but this is really my reaction really to, I think, honest to God, like everybody's going to talk about the Goldberg and Gunther storyline and, Jey Uso advancing and King of the Ring, Asuka coming back. This Liv Morgan storyline has major ramifications moving forward for WWE, and it stinks. So, all the best to her, and if you want to find, like glee out of this, you're an asshole. Okay. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.